Hi friends, this is Sarvajan here. Welcome to my networking channel. Hope all are doing good and safe. And today let us discuss about how to troubleshoot the DHCP snooping issue. So as per the DHCP snooping, only the trusted client, right, will get the DHCP reply. That means, assume there are three clients I have connected to a DHCP server. Only one port I have trusted. What happened? All the other ports will be treated as an untrusted port. That means this will not get the IP address from the DHCP server. This will will always get the IP in the range of automatic private IP, that is 169.254. So only the trusted port will get the reply from the DHCP server. So this I configured as a DHCP server. So as per the architecture, I connected router to a switch, and this port I have configured as a trunk port. Always switch connected to the router I have configured as a trunk port, and I have created three different VLANs. This is VLAN 10, 20 and 30. So both are in the three different VLANs, and for each and every VLAN I configured the DHCP pool for getting the IP address from the DHCP server. So this switch I configured as a DHCP server. So this will get the IP in the range of VLAN 10, this is VLAN 20, and this for VLAN 30. So three different DHCP pool also I have defined. So now let us go and do the configuration. Check the configuration. So this is a router. So what happened? I have configured this as a default router. Show IP interface brief. So this is a default router where I created three different sub interfaces, right? 10.1, 20.1 and 30.1. This is a gateway for all the three different VLANs, right? So now let us go to the individual switch and let us check. This switch I configured as a DHCP server, and the gateway is the default router, right? So what we can do, let us check the DHCP pool. Show IP DHCP pool. So I want to show the configuration, how I configured. So these are the three different VLANs I have created, right? For VLAN 10, I have configured this as a DHCP pool. So how I have to specify IP DHCP pool followed by the pool name. Then I have to specify the network 192.168.10.0/24-bit mask. Then the default router will be the router IP, right? This is the IP, this IP, router IP. And similar way, so let us go to the switch, right? And similarly for pool 2, 20.0, 255.0, 20.1 is a router IP. So this IP I have defined as a sub interface in the router, that I configured as a router on a stick, right? So this 20.1 I configured in the router, and this is a DHCP range for VLAN 20, and this is a DHCP range for VLAN 30, and this is a default router IP, right? So these are the range I have excluded. Why means 10.1 is a VLAN gateway, right? That's a default router IP, and this is a VLAN IP address for 10, 20 and 30. So that is the reason I excluded only these two IP address for VLAN 10, 20 and 30. And apart from that, I configured this as a access port, right? So this is in VLAN 10, 20 and 30. So let us check. So let us go to the switch and let us check the access port. Show IP interface brief. So these are the access port I configured, right? We have 1, 2, 1 is for trunk port, 2, 3 and 4. So how to check? Go to show VLAN brief. Show VLAN brief. So this will show 10 I have marked as sales, and this is for VLAN 2, port 2, and VLAN 20 it is port 3, and VLAN 30 it is in port 4, right? So now let us go to the configuration. So what I have done, I have enabled the DHCP snooping on all these three VLANs. So we have configured VLAN 10, 20 and 30, right? So I configured DHCP snooping on VLAN 10, 20 and 30. So now let us see what are the clients are getting whether the clients are getting the IP address, and if it is not getting the IP address, what is the main reason I want to show you. So now let us go to the first client, let us check. See, it is getting the APIPO IP, that is automatic private IP addressing. So in what scenario it will get the automatic private? In case the DHCP IP address, there is no IP in the pool, or it may be due to some other routing issues, right? Or it may be some other snooping issue. So here what is the issue is nothing but I have configured this as a untrusted port. By default, whenever the DHCP snooping is enabled, all the ports will be treated as an untrusted port. So that means I have to configure at least one port connected to the DHCP server as a trusted port. So only that port will get the reply. Client will get the reply from the DHCP server. So since this port are treated as an untrusted port, this is getting the automatic private IP addressing. So how to fix that issue? So now let us go to the switch and let us check the binding database. How we can check? Show IP DHCP snooping will tell that whether the snooping is enabled, right? Snooping is enabled for VLAN 10, 20 and 30, and you are able to see, right, only the trusted port is, that is fast Ethernet 4. Only this is getting the IP. So these two are getting the automatic private IP addressing because I have not treated this as a trusted port. By default, all these ports will be treated as an untrusted port, right? So what we can do, so we have to enable this as a trusted port. Configuration mode, go to interface, fast Ethernet 0/2, configure this as a trusted port, IP DHCP Snooping trust. Similar way, let us go to the second client. So let us go to check the second client. So this also getting the range 116 range, right? Only because this is treated as an untrusted port. So if you want, we can change this as a trusted port. How to do that? So go to the configuration mode and interface faster than at 3, right? So let us configure this as a trusted port. So after configuring this as a trusted port, all this will get the IP address. Let us check 191.10.3, right? It is getting the IP address. Similar way, let us do. Previously it was getting DHCP. I have changed this port as a trusted port. Now let us see. 20.3. Similar way, let us check the third port. This is also getting the IP. So this is how the DHCP snooping works. So by default, all the ports will be treated as an untrusted port. So only after enabling this port, a specific port as a trusted port, it will get the reply from the DHCP server, right? So let us how to check the binding database. DHCP snooping database, show IP DHCP snooping binding, you have to check always. You are able to see it. So it is getting the separate IP address. 10.3 it is for the first client, that is a VLAN 10. 20.3 is for the second client, that is VLAN 20. And third client VLAN 30, that is 30.3. So this is how we can troubleshoot and debug the DHCP snooping issues, right? If your client is not getting any IP address, that might be the issue with the trusted port, right? So by default, all will be treated as an untrusted port. For security reason, if you want only one port as a trusted, we can configure this as a IP DHCP snooping trust. So what are the steps for configuring DHCP snooping? This is a way step we have to do. So first we have to enable the DHCP snooping, right? How to do that? So this is the way you have to do. First you have to enable the IP DHCP snooping. Then we have to configure the snooping VLAN for VLAN 10, 20 and 30. So then what are the ports you want to trust? Then you have to enable with IP DHCP snooping trust. I hope you understand and enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe me for more videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.